Canucks lose. But I'd say that this is one of the better games they've played. In the words of Travis Green, didn't feel like a 4-0 hockey game. I thought we played well. I thought they played well. First 10 minutes, the Canucks came out flying. The new look lines that this team has been adding to bolster up their bottom six with a bunch of bargain bin casts off have worked well. It's provided a lot better puck possession and speed. The defensive zone support and the breakout is some of the best we've seen all season. What I'm usually harping on with this team is that they can't get out of their own end. It's either a lack of skill or lack of systems. I think that Green maybe figured it out, or this team is buying in or something, because they were really supporting themselves. And it's such a bummer that they didn't get the results, because, I mean, if I was Green, I'd go in there and be like, look, I don't care that you guys lost. You guys played really well. Just keep doing that. You didn't get any bounces. You hit 1,000,000 posts. Winnipeg scored by, what was that one shot? Coming down the wing, bounced a puck off of, I believe it was Hamanek's stick, up and over Demko. And Winnipeg just had too much talent. Their top six is actually pretty terrifying. It really felt like the Canucks were working so hard to get down to the Winnipeg end, and then it just seemed like in an instant, Winnipeg and Montreal was doing this too. They just would quickly turn it over, activate their rush, and be right on the Canucks. Jace Howerluck, man, he had a few good forechecking shifts. I thought the Brock line was looking really good to start off. VC was noticeable. McEwen had a couple strong moments as well. Edler had that terrible pinch off the offensive zone face-off. Wheeler goes the other way on a 2-on-1. He's a really shifty bastard. He had his head up the whole way. Demko looked like he was thinking it was going to be a pass, didn't get set up, and he tossed it through his 5-hole. It was a great play. They have a great top six, and this is what that top six is going to do. And it's what it's going to do against an aging Edler. We love Edler, but he needs to be on a protected bottom pairing to provide the leadership, and not just leadership. I mean, leadership can seem like such an empty thing, but it isn't. I really believe in leadership and chemistry, and I think if you asked any player, they would say that too. But he makes a lot of smart plays. He just needs to be used very sparingly at this point. A microcosm of why the Canucks' recent bargain shopping is working. Grovak, he signed for under $1 million. He's coming up from, I guess, the minors. He makes some nice moves against multiple Jets to get out of the Canucks zone. He gets it to Jake, who then stick handles into traffic, and the offensive play is dead. You can find so much better value, and the Canucks are doing that. VC had this moment where he took it from the Canucks blue line into the offensive zone. He deked out the entire Jets line, their entire 5-man lineup, it seemed like, and got the puck down deep. Unfortunately, the Canucks weren't able to do anything with it, but VC was not the problem on that play. The Jets get another dangerous 2-on-1 with Wheeler. 2 passes, but Demko whips side to side, and an outstretched pad stops it. He comes out high after that to challenge Nikolai Ehlers, who looked so dangerous this whole game on the next shift. We're so lucky to have Demko. In the second period, the Jets' top six take off. Scheifele beats out Horvat behind the Canucks net and walks right out while Schmidt is just watching him. Schmidt, although I've been a huge fan of his game all season and am really happy the Canucks have him locked up for a few years. I think he's going to be a very stabilizing presence. Maybe it's because he's working with Edler. He's really struggled the last few games. I think he has to cover a lot, and he's asked to do a lot more. And he's just, I think he's getting away from what makes his game successful, and he's looking like his confidence is a bit shattered. Late in the second period, the Jets were in control. The Canucks are struggling to get anything going, forcing passes, a real lack of confidence. Miller tries a one-man offensive zone entry, and when it fails, his body language just slumps. You can see that the Canucks are just trying to get out of that period, still down only 1-0. And the Canucks were starting to feel it. I think by the end of the second, they were feeling that the Jets were definitely in control. Edler did draw a penalty in that second period, but the Jets' PK just made a mockery of the Canucks' PP, not allowing any setup at all. Goddard had the best rush with a nice pass at the Höglander from behind the net that Höglander really was not expecting at all. Oh, there was another moment here where VC, Miller, and Jake, they were keeping the Jets pinned in their own zone, not letting them change. And then Roussel comes through and he fucks it up and passes the puck outside the zone. That was probably the best offensive zone pressure the Canucks had all game. And of course, Roussel comes in and just tosses it out, passes it in between the two D-men to nobody. In the third period, the Canucks came out swinging. Hoglander and Brock generating a bunch of chances, although Borvat, he went down. Bo Horvat in discomfort. He was struggling on one leg to get off the ice. The two Winnipeg Jets put their sticks out and gave him a little push. Apparently fell and was lying face down, trying to get back to the dressing room. He could have a real serious injury. I don't know any details, but it's looking like we're going to see some very interesting lines coming up. Hopefully Bo Horvat gets better soon. He's such a warrior. He's a great captain. I love what he does on the ice. He's one of those guys that when the Canucks are struggling, he goes out there and he pushes that extra bit and he drags his line and his team with him. So get well soon, Bo Horvat. We need you back. The Jets quickly transition. They're just so fast at transitioning. And a pass goes off Hamonic. This is the one that bounced high up and over Demko and in for a bad luck goal. Just felt like it was going to be that kind of game at that point. And I mean, at this point, it felt like the Canucks were still playing pretty well, but they just were getting they were outmatched and outgunned by the Jets, and they were just getting some bad bounces. The Canucks definitely needed a spark. At that point in the game, Ben just about scored from the point, hitting the crossbar. Myers, Todd Bertuzzi's his way into the zone for a nice rush, but the Canucks were still down 2-0. Canucks were starting to get a bit of momentum with a nice Hoglander and Goddard play until Roussel gave the puck away for a breakaway. He had a really bad game, and he's been a little bit better over the last couple games. I think since he's come back from injury, he's looked faster. He's shown a bit of that playmaking that I liked seeing of him when he first joined the Canucks. But still, I mean, it's a dead horse by now. I don't know why they keep putting this guy in. I guess they're running out of bodies, but really, when you see the kind of results they get from just about anybody else that they put in, I'm just so sick of seeing him play. Although I get if you're Green, I think Green likes him unless this is a Benning thing where they want to trade him, so they want him to be showcased on the fourth line. But I mean, Green puts him up for every penalty kill, so he might think of him as just like a trusty soldier that he has. If they can trade him, I'd be happy. If not, that makes me doubt what Green's doing. Although I guess I can't really blame him because he doesn't really have much he can rely on. I mean, there's guys on the taxi squad, I guess. You could try to bringing anybody up from Utica is a long process. Really, you got to give credit to Benning for getting ahead of the game, which is something they never do, and bringing in all these guys, making sure that they have Grovak ready to go. Grabbing VC on waivers, grabbing Boyd on waivers. Having, what's his name, Mark Michaelis, Jace Howerluck. Like this, if they didn't have all those moves that they made ahead of time and you got all these injuries, they would be seriously screwed. And in fact, they're looking better as the season goes on. I mean, I'm all about what the Canucks can actually do on the ice and not about the results. Although, of course, the results are what really matter when you're trying to win a Stanley Cup. But right now, when you're looking at what the Canucks are doing, you're trying to judge what players are going to be here if they are going to win a cup with this roster and what players are not going to be. So in the last couple of weeks when the Canucks were winning because Demko was playing unbelievable, but the team was playing like shit, I didn't really care about the wins. I was obviously happy that Demko was looking like a goalie that could win a Stanley Cup and was playing behind a team that is in serious trouble with their roster. And then you see something tonight and you think, this is good. This is a step in the right direction. Really look at this. All they've added are a few waiver wire pickups and bottom level players. They've only added players that make less than $1 million, and the team has looked so much better. So once they can get rid of the Sutters, Roussel, Jake, Goddard has really improved. I've been shitting on him all season, and he is starting to figure it out many years in. I guess I got to give him more of a break because he was somewhat effective last season. And he had that horrible, I don't know exactly what it was. He had some kind of ailment like a virus or a disease, something that was causing his weight to go down. And this is a game where obviously you're playing at the highest level of competition. So you're going to need every bit of energy, every bit of weight, every edge you can, right? I mean, we see what happens when these players get over 30 and they lose that one step and all of a sudden they go from being highly effective to highly replaceable. So That's the good news out of it, is that this team is starting to play a lot better. We're seeing the parts that need to go, and we're seeing that if you just add these players that the Leafs are just giving away, or that are not getting a contract of even $1 million, that is making them look so much better. So just imagine when they start bringing in some other guys like Podkolzin or anything else. I mean, really, I love Harmondial's quote that he had on the intermission of, at this point, average is an upgrade. And if you can get an okay bottom six, that's kind of reliable. Maybe another defensive piece. One more scoring guy. I think the Canucks could start to get back to doing some damage. You got great goaltending. Hughes needs to take another step and figure out why he's regressing. Schmidt needs to get his confidence back. Hamonic is fine for the money, and you're probably going to trade him for a pick. Ben has really grown. Man, Ben looked fantastic this game. I feel like he really stepped up his game since playing with Hughes. He made like a really nifty move, a little spinorama in his own zone. I think he's gotten a lot more confident. I like him. I think I'd be happy to, if they can trade and get like, I don't know what you're going to get for him. If you're only going to get a third rounder and you can pay this guy like $1 million a year, why not just keep him? If you could lock him up for, 3 years or so, I get it. You also, there's only so many spots on the defense and you need to bring people up. Like Ulevi was looking really good and now you're just letting him rot. I'd like to see him come back up. Jack Rathbone's going to need to come up. Jalen Chatfield's looked okay. So there's only so many spots. I mean, you can't fall in love with your defense because you need to keep improving it. You need to keep it efficient. But you look around, I mean, this is a 31, going to be a 32 team league. Every team has problems. You look at Winnipeg, their top six is fucking lethal. They have a killer goalie. And their defense could use a boost. They didn't even want Myers. Well, they didn't sign him anyway. I guess at the time they had big buff. Or you look at Toronto and, I guess maybe they could use goaltending or a bit of defense. Goaltending's probably simultaneously an easy and difficult thing to fix because it's only one player. It's not like trying to fix a defensive core and making sure you have the right guys on the left and the right. But, all these teams have flaws. And the Canucks have shown that they have a little bit of an upgrade in that bottom six, and they improve drastically. So I feel pretty optimistic. How's that? After a 4-0 loss, I feel more optimistic. After seeing Bo Horvat go down, and now that Pettersson, Horvat, Pearson, who else is injured? There's got to be more than that. They're out. And I feel more optimistic. How do you guys feel? Thank you very much for watching this, and I'll talk to you after the next game.